So today we are going to learn about the ETL architecture. Okay. So in the ETL architecture, there is something called as layers, which you have to understand. In ETL architecture, there are layers. First is the source layer. Next is the ODS, or called as landing area. Next is the staging area. Next is the data warehouse. Next is the data mart. Last is the BI reporting. So the layer wise, if I tell, so layer one is nothing but your source layer, source system. So this is called as this I can tell it as layer one, because the source can be anything. It can be an flat file. It can be an Excel sheet. It can be a database. It can be a XML. So all these are nothing but the source system. After that, it goes to ODS, or landing area. This is an optional layer. Some of the company keeps this layer or stage. Some of the company will not keep. Mostly they will not keep this ODS or landing area. The data will go from source to landing area. From landing, it will go to staging area. This staging area. After staging area, it will go to the data warehouse. From data warehouse, it will go to the data mart. From the data mart, it will go to the BI reporting. So that means from source, if I make an arrow, it will go to what? It will go to ODS. I make an arrow, it will go to what? Staging area. If I make an arrow, it will go to what? Data warehouse. Make an arrow, it will go to what? Data mart. Then finally, it will go to the reporting area. So this is what is the project architecture. Sometimes it is asked that what is the project architecture? The project architecture is, first the data will come from the source system. From source, it will go to the ODS. Wait. Project architecture. Project architecture. First, it will start from the source system. From source, it will go to ODS or landing area. From landing area to staging area. From staging area to data warehouse, then data mart, then reporting. Reporting, BI reporting. Okay. And some of the companies, most of the companies follow source to staging, staging to data warehouse. From data warehouse, it goes to data mart. From data mart, it goes to the reporting layer. So you will tell this is the my architecture. What is the architecture of your project? So generally in ETL projects, we have to always tell the architecture. First is the source, then it went to the ODS or the landing area, then it went to the staging area. From staging area, it went to the data warehouse, and from data warehouse, it went to the data marts, and from data mart, then it came to the reports. And this BI reporting layer, also called as presentation layer, is used by the end users. So the company owners like CEO, MD, and all those things can see the reports and can decide various factors. So what factors, that we'll discuss later. So this layer till here is ETL, and from after data mart, when it goes to the presentation layer, reporting layer, that is called as the BI, business intelligence reports, which are generated based on the reports. The people will take the decision. Suppose a company, how much sales is done for a particular project, for a particular region, for a particular year, what is the attrition rate, All these things can be seen by the reports. So this is the layer which you have to remember. Whenever a project architecture is asked to you, you will tell what it is it will go from source to, you tell this one. Generally 99% of the company uses this one. So you tell what the project architecture starts from source, it goes to the staging, then it goes to data warehouse, then it goes to data mart, and finally the end product what is developed is the reports which is generated using this ETL project which I was working. So as an ETL tester, I need to check the data from the source to staging to data warehouse to data mart, and then finally I have to check the data from the data warehouse, data mart to the reports. So that is what is the testing divided. So every layer we need to do the some kind of testing, and that is what is the ETL testing. And we will learn that what are the kind of testing is done and how we do the testing and what are the testings is required actually. So testing, if I broadly tell, it divides into two parts: from source to staging, staging to data warehouse, and from data warehouse it goes to the data mart, and finally it goes to the report. So these are the testing, and for to learn these things, first we have to understand what is a data warehouse, what is a data mart, what is a report, what is a staging area, what is a landing area, what is ODS, what is source system. So all these things we are going to learn. So as I have already told, there one thing which is called as source. So source is the initial thing, which is from where the data will get extracted. It is a data migration project. Data migration means what? The data will get migrated. It will move from one place to the other. Then it becomes what? Data migration project. Data migration project means what? Data will get migrated from one stage to the other stage. Data will move from one stage to the other stage. Then it is called as what? Data migration project. So from here, the data migration is happening from source. The source can be, suppose our source is, as I have told, it can be a database, XML, Excel file, anything. Suppose the source is database. Now from source, it went to the staging area or landing area. First, let us take the landing area. It went to the landing area. The landing area is a very basic area where it goes and it gets stored, and minimal quality check happens there. Now, what is that quality check? We will learn that. Quality check. Quality check means the suppose there is the first name should be uppercase, first letter of the name. Quality check. Quality check means basic check. Basic check like the name of an employee should start with first letter as capital. So this is what one of the basic check, which we do a very minimal check in the landing area. From landing area, when it goes to the staging area, again in this area, there is some quality checks or what happens here in this area. Like there is no underscore, no unnecessary null values. So these kind of quality checks happen in the staging area, and then it goes to the data warehouse, where actually the transformation logics are being tested. And from data warehouse, it goes to the data mart. Data gets migrated into separate database, which are data mart. And the last is the reporting layer or presentation layer, also called as present, where the values are being presented or projected. So that is not nothing but the reporting layer or presentation layer. And generally in any company, from source it goes to the staging data warehouse, from data warehouse it goes to the reports. The source to data warehouse we validate, and then source to staging, and then we validate from staging to data warehouse, and from data warehouse it goes to the reports. So these are the layers. So someone asks you what is your project, then we can tell that from source it goes to the staging, data warehouse, data mart, and then it goes to the reporting layer. So now we will learn that what are the checks we do as per the layer by layer validation. What we will understand, if it is a landing area, staging area, data warehouse, data mart, reports, what are the checks we need to do, and how the testing is done with respect to the ETL testing project. So these things we are going to learn in this ETL testing. So testing is divided into two parts. One is ETL testing, one is BI, business and intelligence, reporting testing. So BI reporting testing, the reports are generated using some BI reports, like your Cognos is a BI reporting tool. SSRS is a BI reporting tool. Then your MicroStrategy. There's so many BI reporting tools. Okay, is again a BI reporting tool, and then there are so many other like Quick View and all those things are nothing but your BI reporting tools. Now ETL testing tools, which are the ETL testing tools? So like ETL testing tools are like Informatica, like Amnisho, like IBM Data Stage. So these are nothing but SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. These are nothing but your ETL testing tools, and these are nothing but your BI reporting testing tools. So there are two tools. ETL testing tools are Abnisho and Informatica and IBM Data Stage SSIS. And BI reporting tools are Cognos, SSRS, MicroStrategy. All these are nothing but your BI reporting tools. So there are two kind of tools. Next. Now, after that, the testing is divided into two parts, and we have come to know the layer by layer validation. Before we come to know, we have to understand some of the concepts which are generated, and we have to learn some of the concepts with respect to the data warehousing. Like, what is a data? What is the data? So meaningful, any meaningful information is called as data. Any meaningful information is called as data. Next, what is database? So database is nothing. Is this font visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so next is database. Database is collection of data in the form of tables. When the data are collected, that too in the form of tables, that becomes a database. Next is, what is a table? Table is a collection of rows and columns. Collection of rows and columns are called as table. Next is the row is also called as tuple, row is also called as chapel or record. Column is also called as attribute. Table is also called as entity. Now, what is a cell? The cell is defined as intersection of rows and columns are called as cells. Now, schema. What is a schema? Folder structure. Folder structure in the database is called as schema. Suppose if I draw a diagram, let me just draw a diagram. So let me just write down. Suppose this is a database, and so this entire area is a database, and this folder is nothing but a schema. This is schema 1. Similarly, we can tell it what? This is schema 2. This is schema 3. This is schema 4. So what happens here, this database is an empty area, like your kitchen. Kitchen is an empty area. Now in kitchen, there are 4 racks. Suppose for a rack for vegetable, a rack for rice, a rack for glossary item, a rack for fruits, a rack for vegetables, a rack for utensils. All these things are nothing but the schema. Now inside the schema, what happens? There will be inside, suppose rack is made for fruit. Now fruits will have separate rack for mango, for apple, for grapes, for banana. Again, they are separate racks. First is the kitchen. Kitchen is the database. Now schema is what? Fruit rack, glossary rack, uh, utensils rack. So these are nothing but the schema. Now what happens inside the schema? I went suppose in one schema, that is fruit. Now in fruit section, now there are 4 divisions. One is for mango, one is for banana, one is for apple, one is for grapes. So these are nothing but the further divisions. That means inside the schema, again there will be division. That is nothing but your tables. That are nothing but your tables. Table consists of what? Row and column. Table consists of what? Row and column. So inside the schema, there will be something called as what? Tables. Inside the schema, there will be tables. Table consists of what? Rows and columns. Are you able to understand that inside a schema there will be tables? Now table consists of rows and columns. These are called as rows, these are called as columns, and intersection of these rows and columns, this is what a cell. Let me just highlight that. This is nothing but a cell. What is a cell? Intersection of what? Rows and columns is nothing but a cell. So this is the overall understanding when you come to know about that. What is a database? What is a schema? What is a table? What is a row? What is a column? So all these things should be very, very clear when we learn ETL testing. Our concepts should be very, very clear. If someone asks what is a row, you should directly tell this is a row. Okay. Yeah. So, so you should directly tell what this is a row. This is a column. Okay. So that should be very, very clear. What is a row? What is a column? What is a cell? That should be very, very clear. So this is cell. Intersection of these rows and these columns produces cell. In a table, always rows are deleted or columns can be dropped, but cells cannot be deleted or dropped. So this should be kept in mind. This is very neatly database, inside database, schema inside schema, tables inside tables will have the data. Inside table we will have the data. This is overall structure we should be always kept in our mind when we understand the database. So database is there, an empty area, in that schema is there, in that tables are there, in that tables data are there. Now this is my understanding with respect to our database, schema, table, data, all these things. Now there's something called as data warehouse. So this is a very important concept. You know, everyone thinks that the database and data warehouse are the thing, are the same thing, but it is not. There are difference between data warehouse and database. So today we are going to learn about what is the difference between a database and a data warehouse. So why we use this word data warehouse and why we use the word database. So what happens in data warehouse is that in data warehouse, it is a collection of data. It is a centralized repository actually. So what happens centralized repository means what? Is in this what happens, the data which are coming from databases, from several database, the data would be coming. But now what happened, the database is having the data, from there the data are coming and integrated in a place that is nothing but your data warehouse. Suppose a sale is happening for a particular product in a particular region. If I take a Bangalore region, and suppose a sale is happening in Marathalli for a Lee showroom product. Now this product which is say sold in Marathalli, product which is sold in BTM, product which is sold in Hebel, all these data are collected in database. And if we take all these data integrated, then it becomes what? Data warehouse. So to explain this data warehouse, so we should always know that this data warehouse is always an integrated data. Okay, the first thing should come when we talk about a data warehouse, we should be knowing that it is always an integrated data. So data warehouse is always an integrated data. Give me just 1 second. Hello. I, yeah, see the data warehouse is a concept which everyone should know. So let us just discuss about the data warehouse again. So a data warehouse is nothing but a collection of data, which is a centralized repository. It is a historic data. Suppose the data, what is suppose a product is sold in Marathalli, sale happen for a jeans in Marathalli, in Hebbal, BTM, Core, Mangala. So these data will be stored in a database. Now all these data from the database will be integrated and stored in a particular centralized repository. That is nothing but the data warehouse. So database is a transactional data, maximum 1 year data. It's also called as OLTP, online transactional processing data. Since the transaction null data are there, 3 months, 6 months, maximum 1 year data are there. So that is why it is called as transactional data. What is the transaction happening? How much sale has happened? What is the cost? What is the model? What is the size? What is the product which is sold? So that is nothing but the database data. Now, data warehouse database is a historic data. It consists of what is the sale for 2 year, 3 year, 10 year, 20 year, 1000 year, 100 year. All these data are historic data. There will not be any changes like insert, update, delete will not be done, but in database these things will be done. The definition of data warehouse is called is defined as a data warehouse is a subject oriented, integrated, time variant and non-volatile collection of data that support of the management to make the decision. Okay, so that is what is the definition of data warehouse. So in subject oriented means data warehouse can be used for to analyze a particular subject area like sales. So this is a particular subject like sales. What is the sale happening for a particular project? Integrated means the data will come from different databases and gets integrated in a centralized repository. That is nothing but the data warehouse. Time variant means old data, 1 year, 2 year, 100 year, 20 year, 30 year, 40 year, 50 year, but 3 month, 2 month, 1 month data will not be there in data warehouse. That is why it is known as time variant. Old data, historic data, name is OLAP, online analytical processing, because we'll analyze that data, we'll do the analysis on that data. But when I tell non-volatile, non-volatile means non-volatile means non-volatile means since it's a historic data, no changes would be done in this data because this data is a huge data, 20-year data, and if someone will go and delete and update and do all those things, the data will get completely corrupted, completely messed up. So in data warehouse, there is no DML activities which is done. So this is what is the data warehouse. So today we started with the concept of ETL architecture. I told you data will go from the source to the ODS or the staging area, landing area. From landing area, it will go to the staging area. From staging area, it will go to the data warehouse. And from data warehouse, it will go to the data mart. From data mart, it will go to the particular reports, which will be used by the NDR. So this is called the project architecture. I told in ODS or landing area, basic check will happen. The basic check or the quality check will happen in the landing area or ODS area, that is operational data store. What will happen here is we'll do the basic check like the first name should be name of the employee, first name should start with the capital letter. This kind of very basic check will happen in the landing area. Next is the staging area where some more quality check will happen, that there should not be any corrupted data. Corrupted data means no underscore unnecessary underscore should be there, no unnecessary null value should be there. Next, after staging, it goes to the data warehouse where actual transformation logics are checked, and then it goes to the data mart, which is data mart, and from data mart, finally, particular data will be going. Then the data will be going into the reporting layer, which is also called as presentation layer, and this layer will be seen by everyone. Now, ETL testing tools, I told you, Informatica, Amnesia, IBM Data Stage, SSIS, Pervasive, all these are ETL testing tools. BI reporting tools like Cognos, SSRS, MicroStrategy, Tableau. There are so many BI reporting tools. Then I told you data warehouse. I started with data. Any meaningful information is called as data. Database, any collection of data in the form of tables is called as database. Table, collection of rows and columns. Row is also called as tuple. Column is also called as attribute. Table is also called as entity. Cell is the intersection of rows and columns. Schema is folder structure in the database. Then I showed you this diagram. This is database. Inside database there's schema. Inside the schema there's table. Inside table there are data. Next is the data warehouse. I told you data warehouse is subject-oriented integrated, time variant and non-volatile data. Subject-oriented means for a particular subject. Integrated means the data comes integrated data are there. Data gets integrated from different databases. Time variant means all data are there, and non-volatile means the data would not be changing. So that is what we have learned today, and